Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
The head of Europol fears the UK's departure from it after Brexit will see a loss of valuable British influence in the fight against cross-border crime and international terrorism. Rob Wainwright has issued his warning as UK negotiators prepare to start talks with the EU on how British law enforcement agencies will work with their European counterparts after Brexit. The government says it's optimistic an ambitious new security treaty can be agreed. With 14 months to go until Brexit, our Home Editor Mark Easton takes a closer look at the potential impact on security. And his report contains some flashing images.
After the Manchester Arena bombing last year, hundreds of messages were sent to Europol HQ in The Hague. Britain's liaison team there contacted counterparts across Europe, trawling EU databases, tracking possible accomplices. As a trusted Europol member, the information was available immediately. For almost 9 years, Europol has been headed by a Brit, but he leaves in a few weeks, warning that a post-Brexit Europol will be less concerned about UK's security priorities.
There will be a loss of British influence. I think that's a shame for the UK. I think it's actually a shame for our European partners as well, and we'll find other ways perhaps of influencing it in more informal ways. But they will be less direct, less pronounced, and probably less successful than they are now, of course.
So we need to fetch his fingerprints.
Officers at the UK's National Crime Agency are accessing Europol databases every day and fear moving from member status to what's called operational status will make it harder to keep British citizens safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the minute we've got a really good relationship with EU partners. Everyone works on the same platforms, everyone works to the same rules. Any lessening of the relationship which would affect operational impact and responsiveness and our ability to protect the public would be the concern.
Bravo.
Operation Captura has tracked down dozens of British criminal fugitives on the continent and brought them to justice. It's relied on access to EU quick-time information and the European arrest warrant. The government says such operations should be no less effective after Brexit.
We can make this simple. By simply saying, let's go straight to a security treaty that allows us to preserve these capabilities because we value them, because they work, and a large part of why they work is because of the British contribution.
In leaving the EU, Britain will give up its place in the Europol boardroom, where representatives from EU states discuss how to protect their citizens from the growing threats of cross-border crime and international terrorism. We don't just lose our seat here at Europol, deciding on the priorities of this organisation. The Union flag will be removed from boardroom tables at a whole range of EU bodies, which decide on the data rules and the protocols which must be met to be involved in intelligence sharing.
UK law enforcement officers are able to exchange information.
The government, however, is optimistic that it's in everyone's interest to agree a deal that preserves the status quo.
And don't necessarily accept that assumption that we will not be able to influence the rules. We influence the rules at the moment. We're going into this negotiation saying what we've got works. Part of why it works is because of the British influence and our contribution.
The shared threat from terrorism and cross-border crime means it's likely a key player like the UK will be able to negotiate some sort of special deal with the EU after Brexit. But it will be hard for British law enforcement officials to maintain their agility and their influence. Mark Easton, BBC News.